everybody, Marc Gilday here. I'm personally responsible for over $200 million of insurance business. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why I gave up cold calling for good and what happened. Now, a lot of people, before we begin, are getting new to selling insurance, or they're selling insurance, but they're just looking for an edge. If that's the case, I got a book you should check out. It's The Insurance Selling System Never Fails. It's a quick read, and it's only a few bucks. You go to insurancesalescontrol.com, and for a few dollars, you can download the digital version of the book instead of spending, $20-something on the Amazons. So why I gave up cold calling was because I think cold calling just doesn't work the same way it did. And I also tell my clients, my coaching clients, that they should give it up too. And here's why. If you think about it, cold calling is really kind of attention terrorism. I came up with that term because I was at a party, and those of you who know my background know I performed as a magician, and I never did walk around, but I went to a function where they had magicians doing a walk around, and they come up and say, hey, you want to see a trick? 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 And I was thinking, yeah, no, I'm good. I want to drink my cocktail and have a conversation. I don't really need to see another trick after seeing 400 of them, right? Anyway, that may be your bag, and it's okay, it's cool. But I dubbed it terror magic. And I equated that to cold calling because that's exactly what you're doing. You're literally harassing these people, interrupting their day, asking them to pay attention to you, and unbelievably so, this is like the first way that we're taught to do prospecting in insurance. Really, go ahead if you don't believe me. Ask any sales manager, how do you do prospecting? Well, you got to do cold calling. They tell you a lot of other ridiculous stuff too, but cold calling is like right there on top of the list. Well, let's look at this. If we take a look at what has happened over the past decade and a half, go back to 2004 and go to Statista to back this up. 2004, virtually everybody in the United States had a landline. And landlines had this thing called a phone book that you could actually get a number and call these people from. If you worked in business, they had something called the Polk directory. They don't really exist anymore. They do have them, but they're not in existence. And here's why. If you fast forward, or just stick to 2004 for a second, not only did virtually everybody have a landline, only a sliver of people had a mobile device, a mobile phone, that they used as their main form of communication. Now fast forward to 2021, and Statista says that over 2/3 of the people have landline, and get this, less than 1/3 of the population in the United States have a landline. And of those people, those are older people who have the landlines. So what does that tell you? It tells you that cold calling is going hasta la bye-bye, because it's not going to exist anymore. There are no directories where you can talk to people like that the way you could have several decades ago. And cold calling was really at its peak in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and the beginning of the 90s. So what do you do instead of cold calling? Well, here's something that I teach my clients. Have a reason for you to call back, or call those people that you want to be in touch with. So we put together something called a drop-off kit. And literally, if it's a company or a professional or even somebody's house, we literally put it in a nice envelope and we drop it off. Now it's disrupting. There's something on there that's silly, and we make mention of that in a letter. It said, like, hey, you probably wouldn't write this is here. Well, more about that later. I'm sending you this kind of way to get your attention because we're looking for qualified people who meet this requirement, this, whatever your sales message is going to be. By the way, we have something that we put together that you just contact us. It's an entire system. We'll give it to you, no big deal. And it'll help you break through that. Now, when you have a reason, or when you give them something that's kind of silly and stands out, you have a reason to call them back. So as an example, we could have a little shoebox with a little baby shoe. And in there it says, hey, I'm Mark, I do this, and I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. Now, that message with that little shoe is going to be silly, but it's going to be memorable. And that person's going to say, hey, look, this guy sent me a little shoe and it's just trying to get in the foot in the door. And believe me, it's memorable. Now, imagine the result you're going to get calling back after you drop that off and say, hey, I'm Marc Gilday. I'm the guy who sent you the shoe. And he's going to start chuckling and laughing, hopefully. And you're going to break the ice. Now, because you went to that step and broke the ice, you have a much greater shot of booking an appointment with that person. Hey, we're looking for qualified professionals to do this, or this. And you're going to say, well, tell me about that. I'm going to say, great. I don't want to take up your time over the phone. Let's set a 15-minute appointment. There are lots of ways to get around any objections that would come close, but one of the things that I used to use in that very same scenario for group insurance is I say, we have a program that if you're qualified, you can save, up to $2,000 per employee per month without changing benefits or anything else. Is that, how many employees do you have? You have 100 employees, so over a few years, you're going to save $1 million. Is it worth 15 minutes, 20 minutes of your time for $1 million? Something like that, whatever that is. The point is this: if you break the ice with giving them something, whether you mail it to them, silly, or whether you hand deliver it to their front desk, hey, this is for whoever that person is you want. If you make it a disrupting drop-off piece, you can call back and book that appointment a lot easier than wasting hours on the phone cold calling. Now, cold calling does have its uses. It does help you to be good. It does help you to get over rejection if you do it thousands and thousands of times. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking really about a warmed up call because you now have a reason to call that person. Now, if you like that, I want to know what your biggest takeaway was in the comment. If you are trying to learn more skills and trying to up your insurance game, again, go check out the book literally for a few dollars at insurancesalescontrol.com/book. Again, let me know what your biggest takeaway from this video was, and make sure if you like it to give that like button a thump in the head, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.